Hey folks, Nas here. I appreciate everybody joining me today for our final episode of All Alone in No Man's Sky. Now, at the beginning of the series, I had put forth some rules and objectives for myself, and of course, everybody could follow along if they wanted to. But let's go ahead and go back over the rules. Now, granted, you can find the rules and the objectives in the description of every video that I've done through this series. So if you are interested in following along through the series from the beginning, there'll be a link to the very first video, a playlist, but you'll find the rules and objectives in the description below. And we're going to go over those just a little bit. So for the rules, number 1 was no glitching or duping. Number 2 was no expeditions. I wasn't sure when I started the series if we were going to have a brand new expedition drop during the series, so I left that in there. The expedition allows you to essentially not be in abandon mode, because the expedition has its mode of its own. So it would allow you to gather items that you would not normally be able to gather in abandoned mode. That's why I had put that in there. So that way we could do just a straight abandoned mode series, only in abandoned mode, no expeditions. That's why I put that in there. However, you still have access to some of your expedition rewards from previous expeditions and things. I did put a restriction on that. So as far as the decorating and building rewards, those are okay to use because they don't necessarily improve your gameplay, and they don't give you access to anything that you really couldn't have in abandoned mode, really, so it doesn't really affect decorations don't affect the gameplay. So I allowed decorations. However, with the Starship and the Multitool, I did require you to have an S-Class ship and an S-Class Multitool before you could actually go and acquire the reward ship or the reward multi-tool. That was the only really exception there. And then, of course, I put down under the rules that you got to use the restricted storage settings. Now, the restricted storage settings, if we open our inventory real quick, you'll see that like on my oxygen here, my max is 300. I can't carry any more than 300 in a slot, as to where in normal you can carry like 9,999. So we've used a super restricted storage setting in the settings, and then also I used the lock setting in the setup, the original setup, before you actually start playing and stuff. You go into and choose what difficulties you want and stuff like that. I use locked. That way I can't go back in to the settings and change my settings anytime during the series. They're locked in from the very beginning. So I did permadeath, I did locked settings, restricted settings, and with the permadeath, I also selected delete save on death. So if I died during permadeath, I get no chance to reuse the save that I had started. I have to start I would have had to start all over again. Now, no deaths. I didn't have to restart the series or anything. We made it through 28 episodes. I think I've got close to 75 hours in this playthrough and everything. But then we had just simple objectives that we needed to accomplish during the series. First being to have, at the end of the series, in our pocket, 1 billion units. Now, if I open my inventory here, at the top left of the screen, you can see that I've got 1.7 billion units. So I'm almost to 2 billion units. And most of that was hunting ships. It's actually not difficult to get to 1 billion units in the game, even in abandoned mode. Abandoned mode, the nanites are an issue. That was a struggle. But anyway, for the second objective, we also needed to expand our cargo storage. So that's the lower boxes here to the max. We had to max out our cargo storage in the exosuit only. You didn't have to max out the technology. You didn't have to max out your ship storage or anything like that. Then we had to do, we had to build a minimum of 5 useful bases, which I have done. Can I reach that from here? No, I can't. I got to get over here. So then, if we go into the teleporter here, now I'm on a space station currently. You can see here that we've got our very first base, the All Alone Base 1. Let me actually go to your bases, which are my bases. So this is everything that I've built, you know, that I have a computer for and all of that. Now, you can't just place a base computer like this one here. You can't just place a base computer and call it a base. This is not a useful base because it has nothing there except a base computer. That's the only thing it has there. I found some cool stuff there, you know, eggs, milk, apple. Thought I might do some food and stuff, and I placed a base computer so I could go back to it. But it is not part of the 5 useful bases that I made. However, the very first base that we made, we took over a minor settlement. That was our first base. We've got storage there. I planted native plants. So if you have plants that are native to the planet, you can plant them in the ground. I'd made a little garden and stuff for frost crystal or whatever. Then we've got the Paradise Memstone Dis. Now, granted, it's a dissonant planet. It's got memory stones on it, and it is also a paradise planet. That's why I named it the way I did, just so I knew what all was on the planet just by looking at this thumbnail. Now you can see here I'm at the space station in that system, but this was our storage base. All of the storage units are there. I've got all of the refineries placed there. Of course, I've got a teleporter. I've got the nutrition chamber thing and a galactic trade terminal. That way I could trade stuff. But it's also built at a harmonic camp. So it's like a super multi-purpose base because we've got the memory stones we can go hunt. You've got the shards that you can go hunt for and everything, and you can hunt for ships at that location, and then of course you got all your storage and everything like that. So that was our second base. Then you can see down here we've got a cactus fish base. So this is a desert planet, but you can see here there's ocean in the little screenshot and everything. I ended up placing some of the fishing units, the automated fishing units there. And this was my fishing base, which after I built it, I never used it. Then we've got the portal base here in Euclid. So this is for the Euclid galaxy. I could use this portal to get around the Euclid galaxy if I had the address. So we built a base there. You can see I got the landing pad. I got 2 little outcrop buildings here. One is the teleport terminus or the base terminus or whatever, and then the other has a galactic trade terminal in it. And of course, the square one in the middle covers the terminal for the portal. And then lastly, we have our Celestina base. Now, thank you to Leslie for giving me a name in the comments to name one of these bases. So I named our very last base, which is in the Hilbert system. So this is a portal base. You can see here I've named it Hilbert Portal. That way I always knew if it, you know, what it was, because we kind of need to know what the bases are if we're going to continue using them, making them useful. So this portal base, again, it's a useful base because it's our portal system for the Hilbert dimension. So once we changed over to a new galaxy, which was one of the objectives, you have to reach a new galaxy after acquiring all 16 glyphs, which we've done because you can see here, it says Hilbert dimension. So we've gone through the center of the galaxy. So that is our 5 useful bases. Then on the objectives, you had to acquire an S-class starship and an S-class multi-tool. After many hours of hunting for an S-class ship, why is my screen so cloudy? I'm standing too close to that teleporter or something. Let's get over here. It's some light so you can see my pretty face. But on the S-class starship, after spending many hours hunting ships to make my billion units, and hopefully I was trying to find an S-class Sentinel ship, it just wasn't working. I couldn't find anything higher than an A-class. I could have acquired the nanites to upgrade the A to S, but I took a different route, and I ended up going with the living ship. So if I go into summon vehicles, we can show you, I've got several that I still haven't scrapped. There's the banana ship, banana bug that we used for many episodes, but this one right here is the living ship. that we ended up acquiring. Living ships are guaranteed S-class ships. So if you want, you can use my how to find a living ship guide that I've got on my channel. There'll be a link in the description for that. And you can go and find you an S-class ship to appease the S-class ship objective. Now, for the multi-tool, you can see here I've named mine the Pea Shooter, but you can see that I have now acquired an S-class multi-tool. So this was originally a B-class because I did not find an A-class or an S-class multi-tool. Just could not find them. And I hunted for them at the Harmonic camps, and I hunted for the, just regular multi-tools at the minor settlements. I also, every chance I could get to find a Sentinel Tower, because sometimes the Sentinel Towers will have multi-tools. I couldn't find anything higher than a B. And matter of fact, at every minor settlement, every time I pulled the anomaly into a system, because there you can find multi-tools on the anomaly, and at the Sentinel Towers, they were all S-class. Every one of them was an S-class. I never found one that was higher than an S-class. It's very tough to just go randomly hunting for higher class items in abandoned mode, because there's no economy. Because in normal, your economy can dictate how easily it is to acquire higher class items. So if you have a high economy, then there's a good chance that you're going to have a chance at finding higher class ships or higher class multi-tools. But in abandoned mode, there is no economy. Like there's nobody to trade with. You are it, essentially. So I ended up using nanites to upgrade my B-class multi-tool to a S-class multi-tool. And then, of course, our last objective was to reach the next galaxy, which I had already explained to you here in the base terminus, that I've done that because my Celestina base is in the Hilbert dimension, which means that I had to go to another galaxy. You just can't reach another dimension without going through the center of the galaxy. Alrighty, now that we've got all of that out of the way, and I'm like standing in a dark room, really hard to find good lighting. What I would like to do today is go and do one of these emergency signal scanners. Now, I'd mentioned it a couple times during the series that this was to find a derelict freighter. Now, you're going to get some items from the derelict freighter that are freighter specific, but you can't get freighters in the game, so those are just going to be obsolete items. You can sell them sometimes for units, but you can't sell upgrade technology to anybody. There's nobody to sell it to get the nanites. So I would like to go for our final episode. I would like to go and do the signal scanner here, the emergency signal scanner, and go do a derelict freighter. But sometimes they're pretty good. Sometimes they're okay. Sometimes they're mediocre. Not like we're going to be running into a ton of wrong way. It's not like we're going to be running into like a ton of enemy or anything like that. Matter of fact, I'd be surprised if we really did. But let's go out into space. Let's summon the derelict freighter. Alrighty, we're going to open our inventory. We're going to go to our exosuit. We're going to go to the emergency signal scanner. We're going to hit E to tune the signal. Down at the bottom right hand of the screen, it's going to tell us we need to activate our pulse drive. So we're going to activate the pulse drive. Now, once we get to the derelict freighter, there's no save. And it'll even tell you that. Oh, here we go. So there, we got a derelict freighter. It tells us in the bottom right hand side of the screen to land on the derelict freighter. Now, there are 4 landing spots on the derelict freighter for you to land on. So we're going to go down here and we're going to land on one of these. Now, I am in permadeath. I do have some defensive technology in my exosuit. Matter of fact, let me go into the exosuit and I can kind of show you. So we've got some of these forbidden exosuit modules, and the main thing that you want to look for on these is the core health and shield strength. Life support tanks is good. Sprint distance is always nice because that means that you could sprint longer, but we're not sprinting inside the Derelict freighter. So I do have 3 of these, giving me quite a bit of shield strength and core health, which definitely helps in case we run into security measures, because sometimes these Derelict freighters have security measures that will shoot at you. And then we have 1 of the B-class thermal protection upgrades. So we do have a little bit of thermal protection. However, we can light heaters throughout the Derelict freighter. Now you can see here I've got plenty. I've got lots and lots and lots of ammo. Probably more than I'll ever fire. Not in here. And I also, let me go back to my multi-tool. Of course, I did upgrade the multi-tool I showed you, and I kind of moved some stuff around. I found the 4 supercharged technology. So there's one there. There's one over here. I actually have all of my damage stuff going through 2 of those. I've got one at the top here for the optic drill. That way I can get as much stuff out of my mining beam as I can when I go out mining. But we should be ready to go. So we're going to hop out of here. You can see at the screen now, game not saved aboard Derelicts. So the only save that I have was the save from the space station. You know, when I landed there and hopped out of my ship. Alrighty. You can see it's cold out. I've got the little cold icon down there for the hazard protection. Now there's going to be oxygen and sodium and stuff that you can come through and gather if you don't have batteries or life support gels. You can pick those up if you want or not. It doesn't matter. And then we're going to come in here and we're going to do the door control. We can go through here. We got flying debris all over that you get to bump into. And we need to, cannot do anything with that yet, but we're going to go to this little computer terminal here. We're going to interact with that. It's going to kind of tell us that it's in a total lockdown. The access doors have been automatically sealed, asking if we want to override. Yes, we want to override. Let's see, what is this? Collect emergency supplies. We're going to do that first. Lockdown, access denied. Do that. I don't know if it gave us any supplies. I didn't see anything pop up. Alrighty, alarms are going off and everything. And it's unsealing the door for us. Oh, there's the stuff that we got, the emergency stuff. I got, what, 3 batteries and stuff. Now we're going to go around and we're going to look for little items like this, these supplies. That way when you go around, you can open the supplies and you get goodies out of it. Then you're going to be looking for heating units, especially if you don't have any cold protection. If you noticed when I was here next to the heating unit, the little icon went away for my cold, what am I trying to think of? Cold hazard. Now, there's going to be these unstable canisters. I would try to not shoot those because they go boom. We don't want stuff going boom. You can use your scanner. So if you look at the top of my screen, you can see different icons. So the flame icon is for the heater, and then the little, I'm not sure what that is, a cog or whatever. It means that there's probably some kind of a technology or something that we need to interact with. Otherwise, we're going to go around and we're going to hit, well, I didn't see that technology, but this is one of the technologies. So there's these little tablets laying around you interact with. Finding these tablets can be good. It'll help you get through the Derelict freighter with some of the objectives. Then we got found security credentials. Okay. Then we're going to scavenge the box. Now the blue boxes you can scavenge, the orange you cannot. We're going to go through all of these right here real quick. And then we're going to have another door to go through. If you're going to do these, I would make sure that you do have at least a cold or cold thermal protection upgrade. And then make sure that you've got batteries and life support. Batteries over life support, because you can use oxygen for the life support if you wanted to. Now you can see in the bottom right of the screen, we have zones mapped, 1 of 9. This one room was room 1. And then we're going to have objectives popping up down there in just a little bit. Now, is there a heater nearby? There's one on the other side of the room here. We can turn that on. And then we can go back. We'll loot some of these storage containers. Lockers as well. Can't do anything with that terminal, but there is a tablet right here. We're going to do the tablet. Partial cargo manifest. Not super helpful. Unlock that. Unlock that. Now you can see that we've mapped this room here, so this is 2 of 9, and now we have to find the crew manifest and some other stuff before it disappeared. On the bottom left of the screen, you can see that my stuff is dropping. So I'm going to open this up. You can see it's going to put 2 ion batteries in there. I'm going to hit C. I'm only going to put 1 because it only gives you 85% back. So putting 2 in there, you'd be wasting your second battery just for 15% of hazard protection. Now what you can do, ooh, nice. That should sell pretty nicely. What did we get there? 1.1 million units for that. Alrighty, that's what we're looking for. That, we get tainted metal. Now if you put the tainted metal in your refinery, in your suit, it's going to double it. You can see 1 to 2, or see, 1 will give you 2 clusters. So we'll get 40 clusters out of 20 tainted metal. It's a nice way for you to get some nanites. Actually, I'm going to fill that up in case I need to do that again. Let's see, we got both of those. Good. See stuff over there. I also see stuff over here. There's no heater. It does not say that we read this log yet, so we're going to read this. Partial equipment record. Go through that. Last access 3 days ago. Not useful. All right. Well, stop accessing that, please. Leave. I don't know why it accessed that, but because I didn't have anything on my screen. Getting 11,000 units or something there. Now these guys here don't appear to attack, but I don't want to take a chance. Oop, let's reload. Okay, so we've read that. Now we're going to keep moving through here. There was a door there, but I'm not going to open it yet. I want to go through and scavenge and turn on heaters. Scavenge. We get anything good? Nah. Here. We open all of those. Let's move over here. Scavenge. Scavenge. We're getting units. 8,000 units. Nanites. Forlorn grub or something. I don't know what that was. Nope. Don't shoot the canister. Somebody's gloves fell off. Let's see. Crying grubs. Is it worth anything? Crying grubs, 585,000 units. What is around me? Oh, the glove. The glove flew over and hit me. Nothing good there. Nothing good there. Nothing. Salvage frigate module. Can't use it because we can't get frigates. Let's see. I've got to do this again. Hit C. Just put 1 in there. Okay. Oh, there was some more tainted metal. Alrighty. Let me finish going through this room here. Alrighty. So, here we go. Next door. This is going to give us access to another room. Come in here. Almost all of these little hallways have a heater in them. Alrighty, we're going to get rid of that guy real quick so they're not a nuisance. Again, haven't seen them attack me at all, but I don't want to take any chances because I am in permadeath. Alrighty, we're going to reactivate this teleport terminal. It will teleport us back to the beginning of the freighter. And then we're going to access the terminal right next to it. This is going to be one of our objectives. We're going to access crew manifest. And then we're going to update bioscan. scanning for bio signatures from the crew, which it said it didn't find any. And it gives us another little item. Get rid of those guys. And I'm going to go through this room and scavenge everything. So let me go through this room real quick before we move on. Did I already open these? There we go. Another log here. Let's go ahead and read through it. Let's see. Medical bay logs. Nothing super important. And I think these might be the last two boxes. There were a lot of boxes in this room. A lot of boxes. Then we got two doorways we can go through. We can go through there or there. I believe this is going to be a closed room, just with some goodies in it. So let's go ahead and open that door. Little hallway here. Into a dead-end room. Alright, so we're going to grab the little loot back here. I think there's only a couple of boxes here. Almost 7,000 units. Alright. Let's, got to turn that heater on. Let's go ahead and turn that on. Open the next door. Take care of that little guy. Now, we've already gone through 5 of the 9 zones. We can do that. Turn the heater on. Scavenge that. There's another tablet over here. What is this going to give? A ship AI log. Probe report for the junior engineer. Leave. Did it give us anything? No, it didn't give us anything for the log. Other than like nanites. Let's go ahead and turn this heater on. I'm going to recharge this with 1 battery. There we go. We're almost at 100% there. Alright, so now we're in our 6th room of 9. Now we'll go through the entire Derelict freighter before we go over all of the goodies that we got. It's just I'm popping up a few here and there. Let's see. We'll shoot that guy and those 2 guys. Reload. Life support systems at 50%. Okay, I'm not terribly worried about that right now. Here's another teleport terminal. We're going to reactivate that. And then we're going to talk to this little mainframe right here. There's going to be a second objective. Captain's DNA required to access personal log. Really? I may not have that. Override available. Indicate captain's fate to begin. I'm going to say deceased. Incapacitated. Unknown. We're going to go unknown. Because we don't know what happened to him. I haven't been reading any of the logs. Some of the logs may have indicated what had happened to him. So if you're interested, read the logs. He's not here to stop me from looting his stuff, so I'm okay with that. Let's see. Input accepted. Log will record captain's fate. Unknown, presumed dead. Let's see. Log as a temporary officer. Read the captain's log. This is going to give the captain's, I guess, last entry and stuff. The vessel is ours by right of conquest, by the laws of those who came before us. No more shall we follow, no more shall we beg. Gra. The plunder shall be ours, the plunder shall be ours and ours alone. Well, it looks like it might be mine now. Yeah, I'm not reading through all of these. Come on, get to the end. I'm just here for the loot. There we go. Gives us another little item. Now, these items that we're collecting, like the captain's log and stuff, if you're in normal difficulty... Did we come? We didn't come in this way, did we? No, there's a door here. Where does this door go? Oh, okay. Gotta remember, I don't want to leave this room yet without plundering stuff. Depressurized capsule. Now, you can E to interact, or you can shoot these. His little eye is twitching. Ah, okay, well, let's, boom. Living slime. Okay. That was interesting. See his little eye twitch. Let's finish looting this, turning on heaters. Scavenge. Scavenge. Alright. There's another hallway over here. Does that... This is going to go to a sealed room. So it's not... So when you see these little signs here, these little purple looking ones, pink looking ones, it's a closed room. It doesn't continue on. So it's just going to go in, and there's going to be some boxes and stuff back here. Canisters, don't shoot the canisters. Maybe I'll shoot one here in just a second. Let's see. I'm going to loot all of this stuff first. Then, oh, there's a log right there. Watch Officer Daily Report. Okay. Yeah, it didn't give us any technology stuff, so it's not super useful. All right, let's see if I can shoot that canister down there. Boom. There we go. See, they explode. So be careful. Don't stand too close. All right, let me finish going through this room here. There's another log. Nothing super useful. The main thing that you want to do is access those terminals that we've been accessing. Another salvage frigate module, which we can't use. I think it would be neat, though, is in abandon mode, if you were able to find a derelict freighter like this. Oh, I need to... Yep, thermal protection falling. I'm just going to drop 2 in there because I didn't have a whole lot of time. But what I was saying was, in what would be neat is in abandon mode, if you could find a derelict freighter like this and restore it. Wait, am I going backwards? I'm going backwards. I gotta go find that other door that had the ladder that went down. Where was that? Over here? Yeah, right here. Here we go. We gotta go down. But I think that would be neat. Even if they made it a separate thing or something like that. I don't know. Derelict freighters are kind of neat to go through. Some of them have a little more action than others. Uh-oh. What's... I took damage from something and I'm not sure what.
Technology recharge.
I stepped off that ladder and I took damage, but I don't know what I took damage from. That was interesting. Was that one of you guys? Or was it just... Oh, hi there. I don't know what that was, but I took damage. Whatever. But what I was saying, being able to come in abandoned mode, finding one of these little emergency things, go and find you a derelict freighter. I think it would be neat if you could take over the freighter and maybe there was like some missions or something you had to go do to be able to get the freighter back up and running or something. You know, and the freighter would run under AI control or something, and that way you could actually have a freighter. Because there are things in the game, like upgrading your living ship and expanding the storage and technology capacity of a living ship. You have to have a freighter to do that. So that's, well, I don't know that that would work in abandoned mode because you'd have to get frigates to send them on missions. Unless you were able to get AI frigates or something. I would imagine that it would have to do something with AI in order to do that. Alrighty, let's go through this last terminal here. Let's see. We can fabricate technology upgrade. We can fabricate freighter bulkhead. Both of these are, I believe, going to be freighter specific. The technology may not be, but I would go with extract nanites. That's the most guaranteed useful thing to you. How many nanites did we get? 419. Okay. That's a decent amount. Alrighty. So we have done the derelict freighter. Now we can take this little teleport terminal back to the beginning. So we just teleported all the way back to the beginning. And our ship is this way. Here we go. Now let's head back to the ship because I don't want to just stand around in the cold and look at my inventory. Like, I think it would be cool to repurpose a derelict freighter if you could. Maybe make it to where, you know, some of them are unsalvageable, but maybe you could salvage parts off of it and then find another ship or something like that and use the part on that. But I don't know. I think that would be an interesting thing to have in abandoned mode. I think abandoned mode does need more stuff for you to do as a player rather than just exist by yourself. Like, I mean, with the technology on the ships, I mean, there would be, you would almost think that there would have to be some kind of an AI system. Maybe you could get the AI system back up and running, and it could be a habitat for you. It could be a base that you could teleport to. You could put your storage units in or something like that. Maybe you can't fly the damn thing. I don't know. It just seems like there needs to be a little bit more to abandoned mode. I mean, I get it. You're all alone. There's no living NPCs, but the Sentinels are not living. Matter of fact, they exist in abandoned mode. So there is AI stuff. So you could find, you maybe even if you found a freighter and you restored it, you could use the AI system to control it. So you as one person can operate the freighter. Maybe the freighter breaks down more often. You have to go out and you have to find materials and things like that to be able to fix the problems. But I think that something along those lines could really be nice for abandoned mode. Alrighty, let's go through and see the different items that we got today. Now, granted, I don't know that I fired hardly any of my ammo, but yet I ended up with more ammo than I started with. Let's see, we've got some storm crystals, we got some repair kits. Let's see, got neural ducts, we can sell those. 750 million units, 750,000 units, sorry. And then of course we got these logs. We can't do anything with the logs, period. You can sell them for 815 units. Is it worth it? No, you can delete them. Let's see here. We got a hyperdrive C hyperdrive module. I mean, we got 3 of them actually. So if you need those, you can do those, use them in your ship or whatnot. The Hydel cores you can drop in your personal refiner or your refiners back at your base. They do give you nanites. Also the larval core is also useful in cooking. So if you are cooking items, make sure that you get the recipe off the larval core before you do anything else with it. Otherwise, you can drop those into your personal refiner as well and get nanites out of them. 50 per core, 50 nanites per core. Let's see, we ended up getting the hypnotic eye, not useful for a whole lot. There are a couple of recipes that it's used for. We've got the descented bottles for 15,000 units. Let's see, we've got the Gek potions that we can sell for 1.1 million. That's not too bad. We've got another forlorn grubs for 172,000. We've got crying grubs for 585,000. Okay, we got some money, a little over 2 million or maybe almost 2 million. Then we've got salvage frigate modules, which we can't use. Typically, you use the salvage frigate modules to purchase the technology upgrades for your freighter. Now all we can do with them is sell them for 95,000 units a piece. So we get 190,000 units out of that. We did get nip buds. So if you are having, you do have crops, you can get nip buds from Derelict freighters and plant those. If you need to make your billion units, you could do it in crops if you wanted to. Let's see, Gek relics, Gek nip, another log we can't do anything with. We got some unstable plasma. We got 205 tainted metal. That means that we're going to get 410 nanites out of that. So the tainted metal is a really good thing to get from these Derelict freighters. And of course, we got other upgrades. Some more neural ducts and stuff. Didn't I already have a stack of neural ducts? Yeah, they're right up here. So we got a couple of stacks of items that we can sell and make a little bit of money on. You can sell the hypnotic eyes. They're 171,000, 57,000 a piece. Other than that, we didn't get anything like super great. This was about the only super great thing we got right here. That and the tainted metal, the 410 tainted, or excuse me, the 205 tainted metal. And then we just got to explore and loot. So that was it. Slightly anticlimactic for a final episode, but we did do a Derelict freighter that I've been talking about for some time now. Now we got to go back to a space station at least and hop out of our ship so we can create a save. There we go. Hop out of the ship. Get up here. Seems to be a little bit of light up here. Not great light, but it's light. But anyway, folks, there we go. Final episode of our All Alone series. If you folks did like this series, definitely click that like button. If you haven't subscribed yet, please consider doing so. If you're wanting to see more No Man's Sky stuff, leave me a comment below. Let me know what you'd like to see. If you'd like to see me do another All Alone series, or if you want to see me do something different as far as a series or guides, again, leave me a comment. Let me know below. Make sure to go check out some of my other videos. I do have some other games that I've been making videos on, so go to the channel, check those out and everything. And we will see you in the next one. You take care and happy hunting.